Hey, Roll friends, welcome back. It's Advent Calendar time. I'm happy it's Thursday, the 21st of December. I've all finished now. I've got nothing really odds and sods admin work. I'd never stop working, but event-wise, everything, like, I'm done. I'm done for Christmas. So this is good to go. Just a very quick recap. For those of you that I get new viewers every day, I forget about that. So I'll kind of explain. This is the Master of Malt in the UK. They very kindly let me build my own advent calendar this year. As I've said, I've overestimated a little bit. It's probably 8 weeks ago now that I did this. I've forgotten what I put in here. Also, I can vaguely remember it was 7 Brandies, Cognacs, Calvados, and 17, 16, 17. 17. God, 17 and 7, 24 in it. The rest was rum because I do like my brandy. I do like my cognac. So I'm contemplating a brandy cognac channel next year for a bit of fun. And so just a very quick recap. I've relined those up because it was a bomb site here yesterday for events and like 2 days of events. So I've relined these up. Just a very quick recap. There should be one out of the 4 days left. There should be one more brandy of some description and 3 rums. So let's dive in. I can see this one straight away. Thursday, the 21st. It's brown. It's brown. It's brown. Oh, it's brandy. I'm assuming it's the last brandy coming out. Cognac, I should say. Sorry, Armagnac. Sorry, I should know. JANNEAU. JANNEAU is Armagnac. There we go. And of course, I should know this from Armagnac because Armagnac is a bit band's coming here, but Armagnac is Cognac's poorer cousin. And Armagnacs don't generally go for as much as what Cognacs do, even though a lot of people regard Armagnac as better. There's no right or wrong with that. It's just very, very different. I'll be honest, I've tasted some French brandy that's actually better than Cognac and Armagnac. So, it's however you want to interpret that. But basically, what I'm basically saying is this an XO? When you're talking XOs in Cognac world, will be in the hundreds. This isn't. This is on sale at the moment, but I've gone original price, which is £76.24. So yes, a little bit more expensive, but it's still a lot cheaper than a lot of the cognacs. So to translate that, 76.24 in the UK translates to 90, rounding up. It's on the borders, but rounding up $97, 88 in a bit, or 88 and a half euros. Australian dollars, 144 and a half Australian dollars, and then 130 Canadian dollars. Right. XO, I don't know actually. I think JANNEAU, because random side story, when I used to work in the university, Cambridge University, and look after bits in there, Armagnac was with the fellows, the dons, whatever you want to call them, the teachers, for those of you who don't know. Professors, if you're in the US, we call them fellows. Cambridge, Oxford, maybe Dublin as well, maybe Durham, I don't know, but they're generally called fellows and professors. And for some unknown reason, it was never cognac after dinners, after feast. It was always Armagnacs. And JANNEAU was one of their kind of preferred brands. So I did have a lot of experience with JANNEAU. A lot of the times, the next one, the VSOP, the next one down, but there was the occasional XO to come out. So again, but I'm just going now, where do we go? I'm talking 15, 16 years ago since I probably had one of these. So let's get half of that in a bottle. Let's have a little nosing. I think roughly, I'm going to back myself. I'm going to say 12 years old. I don't know. Oh, wow, there is some fruit on there. I do get a nod to apple, first off. But then I think I'm going to use another posh word here, that quickly dissipates. And I'm kind of getting prunes. It's Christmas time. Let's go prunes. Kind of getting prunes. A honey vibe. Maybe even a little hint of fig as well. I mean, how to describe it? It's soft. It's mellow. It's not soggy, wet wood in your face. It's just this lovely, rounded... Apples come back again. It was 4 days ago since I used this glass and had some Calvados in here. It has been washed up. So it's not that, but... Yeah, that apple's come back. Hang on, it depends where you smell it. Stick your nostrils right in there. You get a fig, you get prunes, you get honey. But just about sort of a few inches from your nose, you do get a slight waft of appley, cidery thing going on. But I mean, close up and personal. I'm not saying you'd pick it as an Armagnac, but you would pick it as definitely not a Calvados or anything like that. How can I sum up the smell? This is something for me, and this is, I've had a few conversations with people. It's like, why are you suddenly giving Brandy a lot of love? Saying it's your favourite, like, neat sipper and all this. That's never been the thing. It's never been in question. Brandy Cognac has always been my favourite neat sipping spirit. I do love rum. I've got a lot of love for rum. But rum for me is primarily a mixer and a cocktail. There is still, to my mind, no rum that I would pick up over a brandy or a cognac or a Calvados or something like that. If I had 7 or 8 bottles of brandy, like really decent brandy and Calvados behind me, and I say brandy because we've got some phenomenal UK stuff. I'm including cognac and Armagnac in that. I'm including Spanish brandy, French brandy in that. Don't just think that cognac is the be-all and end-all, because it's really, really not. Cognac, there's some phenomenal cognacs out there, but I want to use the term brandy, which covers everything. So basically, if I had 7 or 8 brandies behind me that I really, really loved, there is no way that any rum that I've got behind there would sort of outplace any of them, if you know what I mean. I'm a brandy through and through, but when it comes to rum, that's why I level my channel at sort of £50 is a loose ceiling, because I'm really not interested. Rum, very expensive, heavily aged rums, just don't do it for me. Whereas they do with brandy, because of the aging, because they aren't stupidly, ex-whiskey, ex-bourbon, ex-scotch, ex-Islay, ex-Lefroy casks or anything like that. They are just virgin casks, essentially, limousines, virgin oak, whatever you want to call it, and it's just that spirit that's been aged, and I like that. The same as I kind of like virgin oak with rum. That 4-year-old virgin oak, I kind of like that, really. Anyway, let's dive in. This is enough waffle. Let's have a little taste. Now, interestingly, I've just gone in for a second sip straight away. I've scrolled down in the meantime to kind of see Master of Malts, little write-up of this, so there's nothing really on there. It does say 12-year-old in there. And I'm going to conflict with the palate on here straight away, because it says good body, thick, soft and juicy, like biting into an overripe piece of fruit, floral too. I would agree from everything after the soft and juicy. So soft and juicy, like biting into an overripe piece of fruit, floral too. That is 100% nailed. Good body, thick. No, I would go, this is quite thin actually. This is a very delicate, very soft. It's soft and juicy. For me, they're kind of polar opposites. How can you be good body, thick, but soft? My head's not computing that. And as I say, I'm professed. I'm not an out-and-out geek when it comes to neat sipping spirits. I like what I like, but I wouldn't describe something as thick with a good body and soft. This for me definitely plays on the soft, but he's kind of a little bit thin. I'm intrigued now by this. But let's take nothing away from it. God, that is delicious. I'm not overly convinced. I'm kind of getting apple and pear on there as well. It's not Calvados. You are not mistaking it for Calvados. But I kind of get that appley pear vibe to it. I'm just a little bit thrown, because when I'm drinking like older XOs, they are kind of like, especially in cognacs, brandies as well, they are kind of very robust, very kind of give you a cuddle as it's going down your throat and into your stomach. It is, I call it the cuddle spirit. This isn't. This is like really soft, really mellow, elegant, sophisticated. This is a pleasure to drink after dinner. I'm not convinced. Right, how I'm trying to sort of explain this. I'm not convinced if I want a brandy at the end of the night, I'm not convinced this is something that I would pick up, because I think it's too light, if you know what I mean. If I was to relate this to rum, this would be kind of the rum that I would pick up to make a daiquiri, if you like, like really bad sort of analogy, but it's a little bit too light and a bit too soft and doesn't give me the cuddle that I want at the end of the night. But as far as taste goes, wow, that is delicious. But perhaps I need to revisit this and go down the brandy rabbit hole that I want, because I do know that some of the big brands, Hennessy, I'm just going to call them out, Hennessy, Cavazier, Martell, I do know that they are slightly dosed, should we say? Slightly coloured, slightly dosed. And perhaps that's kind of where the robust, the thickness, the unctuousness comes from in those XOs. I'm not saying they're heavily sweetened like to relate this to rum to, we've had it recently with the Don Papa, but what's the other one I'm thinking of? Oh my God, Diplomatico, there we go. Diplomatico. I'm not saying they're like sweet like that, but they have got this element of kind of robustness to them. This hasn't. And this is kind of, perhaps if I remember, I haven't had a Frappan for ages, for instance. Frappan is like a phenomenal cognac. Maison Ferrand, I forget what it's called now. One of my favourite well, it's not actually cognac, I don't think I can call it that. But it's like £130 Maison Ferrand is absolutely stunning. But they've got this lightness to them, but they have got this body to them. And perhaps that is what undosed brandies are like. Face value, right, let's sum this up. Where price-wise, for £76, I'm on the fence with this at the moment. I really am. Virtually at £50 cheaper than some of the XOs that I've really tried so far. £50 is a lot of money, and that's really, really cheap. But I'm not convinced that I would grab a bottle of this when I want that cuddle, that lovely drink at the end of the night. But it's something different. This is flipping tasty. That fruit, without that being a Calvados, without that being a Poire William or anything, or fruit brandy or anything like that, that fruit that you get off there purely from distilling, purely from aging, that is stunning. And I think that's where I'm going to leave that. So that's Thursday the 21st. Done. Cheers.